Hi there, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm Meteorologist Addison Green here at KHOU's Weather Center, where we are tracking some slow-moving thunderstorms making their way across the heart of the city, especially right in the northern sections of the Beltway. We've been tracking this little cluster of thunderstorms over the past hour or so. It's been bringing rainfall rates of about 1 to 2, maybe close to 3 inches per hour, but only a few spots have been seeing some high rainfall totals. But everyone is hearing those booms of thunder, seeing those flashes of lightning as we start to watch this cluster make its way across the northern section of the Beltway, heading in towards Bordersville, out towards Atascocita, heading in towards the Bammel Spring area, pretty much going up right along Highway 45 as well as Highway 69. So if you're in the Woodlands over in towards portions of Liberty County, Montgomery County, you guys are going to be getting these big clusters of thunderstorms coming in your way. And we are definitely seeing a lot of lightning strikes at this one section right there, around 80 or so coming on in. Just updated right there. So with all that convection going on in this cluster of thunderstorms, that's where you can potentially get a quick and heavy downpour to come on in, which means some higher rainfall rates, maybe seeing about 2 to 3 inches per hour coming through. Also, another thing that's helping these storms to have so much moisture to work with is that they are running on the taller side of things. These storm tops are coming in around 50,000 feet or so, so that's going past the point where commercial jetliners fly, about 34 or 35, 36,000 feet, going up towards the tropopause, the top portion, the ceiling of this portion of the atmosphere that we live in. But whenever you get thunderstorms like this and seeing these big columns of orange to red highlighted areas, that means you're packing this column with more moisture, which means that it can deliver more rain and possibly high rainfall rates over a short period of time and over a short distance as well. So as we watch these thunderstorms making their way up across the border with Montgomery County from Harris County, you may get a quick gust of some winds around 30, 40 miles per hour or so. Hail, not a factor. Tornadoes, not a factor. So these storms aren't looking to be severe. But nonetheless, they can still bring around some minor ponding on some of those roadways. But you can generally see it's pretty much cutting the region right there into quadrants, where the northwestern quadrant not seeing too much shower activity, maybe a few storms just starting to pop on up, but it's definitely south of the I-10 corridor. We do see more thunderstorm development and tracking northward as we go forward throughout the next several hours. Current temperatures, if you look out there towards the downtown area, show them running in the mid to upper 70s to the mid 80s in the Tomball area. Of course, factor in all that tropical moisture around town, and we have temperatures feeling in some spots maybe a few degrees warmer, like over in the Tomball area. But other spots, we've seen those numbers cool down, like Bush Airport, where the thunderstorms are pushing in right now. Temperatures feel like the actual temperature outside because of that rain cool air coming down that has cooled Bush Intercontinental Airport down over 10 degrees in the past 24 hours. Most of that came in about the past hour or so. Where the storms have not been, well, it's up across areas to the north and west, like the Brenham area, for instance. Their temperatures are up 6 degrees in the past 24 hours, but when the storms do come through there, those temperatures will cool on down. And we'll eventually see that thunderstorm activity starting to back down as we make our way past the evening rush in towards the dinner time hour, where you should be able to see the sunset in many spots across town, but you'll also be feeling that muggy feeling because that tropical moisture is back and back in full force all week long after taking a step back, allowing us to enjoy a brief window of actual autumn across the Houston metro area. So big picture, to show you why all of this is happening and why we've seen the pattern switch directions, is that we have a boundary, a stationary boundary hanging up across portions of the Ohio River Valley. Drier and cooler air is locked up to the north towards the Great Lakes. Meanwhile, we have high pressure pumping in a lot of tropical moisture, and the air is very warm across the southeast towards the southern plains. But as I look over there towards the Four Corners, you can see a little counterclockwise swirl in the atmosphere going on right there. Well, as we kind of like do an x-ray scan of the atmosphere, we can see, as I did not mean to jump towards the end of my show, let me go ahead and back it up in just a moment. Here we go. So as I go ahead and scan the atmosphere, we can see an upper area of low pressure starting to develop over across the Four Corners, moving in towards Colorado. That's helping to increase our storm chances downwind in towards southeast Texas right there, where we can see those thunderstorms firing on up. And this time frame goes all the way back towards yesterday afternoon. So over the past 24 hours, we've been seeing the storm potential building. Drier air is getting rushed on in from the northern portions of Mexico, western Texas, driven towards the northeasterly direction, helping to lift up all that tropical moisture in the atmosphere, getting those thunderstorms to fire on up downstream, and that's where they are squeezing out all of that moisture in the atmosphere. And we can see this upper level divergence going on as we look at the upper level winds. This is 250 millibars with a jet stream, relatively at an altitude of about 35,000 feet or so. Whenever you get this pattern right here, seeing those winds kind of like spreading out up aloft, it's acting like a vacuum, getting the storms to a chance to fill in that vacuum as they build on up from the surface towards the upper portions of the atmosphere, as we're getting those winds up aloft to clear out and getting that space to fill on, and something has to fill that space, and sometimes it's some strong thunderstorms. But as we look across this region, over the course of the next 12 to 18 hours or so, we can see that we still have that spreading of winds aloft right there, right across portions of southeast Texas. Couple that with an increase in forward motion of the winds, as we're looking at a jet stream right there, that's a core of strong winds up aloft, punching right behind that potential line of thunderstorms. We can see those thunderstorms time frame about 4 to 5 in the morning coming on through, bringing in heavy rain and also gusty winds, and dealing with the potential of some frequent lightning strikes and booms of thunder. But as you make your way towards the afternoon hours, notice how those winds are no longer spreading out. They're starting to get closed up. Well, we're starting to see that storm potential starting to decrease as the jet streak itself is pushing across the area, which means those storms, any of them that do develop, will be quickly moving in and moving out of the area, trying to get some drier conditions to come on in the wake. As we look forward, let's put the whole week into perspective right here. You can see clusters of thunderstorms and shower activity firing on up for tomorrow, Wednesday morning, pulling in towards Wednesday afternoon, towards the evening hours, Thursday afternoon, and then making your way in towards Friday as well, as this upper low will slowly be traversing the area from Colorado and towards the Central Plains, all the while increasing that rain chance downstream up ahead of it, which unfortunately is right over southeast Texas. As we look across your local future track, we can see going in towards the afternoon hours as storm potential starts to fade away with just some clouds hanging around, so that muggy feeling will be sticking with us, unfortunately. By tomorrow morning, here we are, 4 to 4:30. Here's that line of thunderstorms I was mentioning, pushing in from the west, going towards the east. Seeing those darker colors of orange to red, even like a more maroon highlighted color, it's indicative of some more taller thunderstorms, which means they are packed with a lot more moisture and a lot more potential energy along the way. As we go in past 4 to 7 o'clock, now we're getting towards the beginning of the morning rush. We can see those storms making their way across the heart of the city, heading in towards the Beaumont area, right along the border of Louisiana. Meanwhile, we're starting to dry out those skies as you go out there towards El Campo, towards the Columbus area as well. So you may be dodging the shower activity completely from ruining your day if you happen to be leaving on later in the morning hours. By lunchtime, skies, look at that. We're seeing a little bit of a break in activity. But unfortunately, when you have thunderstorms coming through in the early morning hours and you get a clearing of the skies, until we get the system to completely clear out of the area, you can see the heat build on up, getting that potential convection going again, and then getting more thunderstorms to fire on up as you go in towards the afternoon to evening hours, although their coverage should be a little more sparse in terms of how many areas they may potentially be impacting, just maybe a few isolated spots here and there that those storms do happen to develop over. But when all is said and done, as we look forward throughout the next 5 days, taking us all the way in towards Saturday, we can see radar estimates about 1 to 2 inches towards the north and east, south and west, maybe 2 to 4 inches of rain come through. Thankfully, we've enjoyed a nice dry stretch of weather the past several days, so the ground is ready to absorb all this rainfall coming on in. The creeks, the bayous are all at low levels, so they can handle all that excess runoff as we start to see that shower activity hitting those paved areas, those roads, those bridges, and wash down, going downstream towards eventually flowing out towards the Gulf of Mexico. So looking forward throughout the next 7 days, including today, we have a 60% chance of seeing more storms before this day is done, 80% for tomorrow morning. By Thursday, it's down to 70%, and then gradually going down as we make our way in towards the beginning of October and heading in towards the weekend ahead. All the while, our high temperatures going to be into the mid to maybe upper 80s, a few spots here and there, morning lows generally into the low 60s. By the time we head in towards Monday of next week, it should be looking and feeling a little better around town. Hopefully you can join us for more weather and news information coming on up on the 411 on Channel 11, or you can watch us right there on the KHOU 11 app. See ya.